Alright, crazy times. I've got another game to cast for you this evening. This game on Disco Bloodbath. This time, who have we got playing here? We've got Ryan playing against someone, and I don't know who it is because they're playing under the EMS account. So, I'll just call it Ryan versus EMS. Can I remember who it was? I cannot. Anyway, let's get into this. I'm going to zoom out a little bit, have a little look around. So Ryan in the top left playing as Terran, building a supply depot in an unusual location. Pretty common as Terran to sort of, if you look around the perimeter of the base, there's always only one way into your opening base, and it's here. So it's pretty common to build this supply depot at the top of that ramp or at the top of this ramp, so that you can kind of block off the path into your base from the other player. Now the other player, EMS in this case, is also playing Terran. They've also gone for an unorthodox position for supply depots. Arguably, playing against a Terran, you know, I'm not too fussed about making a wall. The first unit that's most likely to turn up in your base if you're playing against a Terran is a Reaper. And Reapers can jump up cliffs like this one that's in 2 steps there. So they can circumvent that wall anyway. If you're playing against Zerg as Terran, it's literally crucial that you build a wall. You have to build a wall. But yeah, no Zergs here, so I don't really mind. I'm not going to hit on that too much. Interesting there, we saw the APM tab up momentarily. There seemed to be, yeah, 0 APM worries me a little bit. The APM, you know, the APM thing that you see here is a kind of rolling average. You know, so for this to sit at 0 for any length of time is, yeah, I'm a little concerned that would be on 0. If we look from EMS's point of view, I don't know. Not sure entirely what he's at here. Oh, he is doing stuff. He's building some things, so I think it's all okay. It's all okay. So let's have a look inside the base. We've got 2 barracks up. We've got gas coming down. We've got a couple of SCVs just having a chat, comparing the mineral lumps that they have mined. SCV over here just chilling, SCV over here just chilling. And really, you want to avoid having workers just standing about doing nothing. When you're playing the game, there's a little thing over on the left hand side here near the mini-map that actually tells you how many idle workers you've got. And if you hit control and click that button, you can select all of those workers and just right click on your minerals and get them back to work. You know, because you want to maximize your income. Bigger income means you can buy more stuff, build a bigger army, win the game. So Ryan appears to be pulling out into a slight lead here. If we look, he's got a slight sort of worker advantage, a slight income advantage, a significant gas advantage. But it's early days. It is early days. So let's go ahead and have another peek at EMS's base. EMS has got the tech lab here. I don't see any tech research going on. This tech lab allows you to research things like combat shield, which basically gives your Marines an extra 10 health. It's very worthwhile. It's cheap and it's worth doing. Also, you can research stim, which means that you can press T when your Marines are doing stuff, and for a short amount of time they go sort of, I can't remember how much faster. I want to say like 25% faster, but I'm not 100% sure. And they shoot faster as well, so it's a worthwhile upgrade. But stimming the Marines does damage them, so it's best not to use stim until you've got medevacs to heal them up. There are a lot of barracks being built here. And I'm curious that while there's barracks being built, the barracks that already exist aren't actually producing any Marines. Like we've got this queue of Marauders. Marauders are good, but you know, if you're going to have all these barracks, why not be building Marines out of them? I don't know. Ryan, meanwhile, looking to extend his economic advantage with this expand. So, oh, actually, EMS got the expand as well. What am I doing? Well, seriously, I'm rubbish at observing, and I'm terrible. You know, if I was better at seeing what was going on in the mini-map, I'd be a better player as well. That's worth thinking about. We can see that we've got a few Reapers out for Ryan. And now the Reaper is a good early game unit. They move very fast, they can jump up cliffs, but in a stand-up fight they're kind of rubbish unless you've got an absurd number of them. So in general, I wouldn't really recommend, you know, this early stage when people are still getting to grips with the game, I wouldn't recommend Reapers. Perhaps build one Reaper and use it to check what your opponent's doing, send it across the map, send it into your opponent's base for a look around, and then run away. Because Reapers are very fast, so there's a good chance you'll be able to get in and out of the base and do a runner. Now, speaking of getting into the opponent's base, if I just show you how much sight Ryan has got of his opponent, literally none. He has no clue what his opponent's doing, none whatsoever. And if I was to show you what EMS, what vision he's got of his opponent, you can see that he did get that early worker in to have a look, so he knows that his opponent has got a base and is in the game. Beyond that, nothing. So, you know, information is key. It is really, really hard to beat an army that surprises you, that just turns up out of the blue. You know, maybe you've got a better army, maybe you haven't. That's a bit of a coin flip. If you know what's coming, you can beat it. If you know that your opponent has built a large number of Marauders, you can go ahead and build a starport and build Banshees, and Marauders don't shoot up, and you can beat those. You know, always you can react to what your opponent's doing if you know what they're doing. If you don't know what they're doing, then you're basically pretty much blind. So that scan that goes down here does see everything inside EMS's base, and that is useful information. So if I look this time from Ryan's point of view, you can see that that scan has revealed all of these barracks. So he knows there's going to be a lot of barracks units. He saw all these Marauders, he saw these Marines, so he can respond to that. What is the response going to be? Well, Ryan is building his own Marauders. He's upgrading armor, and armor is a good upgrade to have against a Marine heavy army. You can see this Widowmine out here, and I'd love to see a few more of those. Widowmines are a fantastically useful unit. They burrow in the ground. Once burrowed, they cannot be seen by your opponent unless they do a scan or unless they have some sort of detector. And then they sort of are a one-hit, as you'd expect from a mine. When enemy units come within range of it, this shoots out a little missile that detonates with a large amount of splash damage. So, you know, a couple of Widow Mines burrowed here, and if your opponent doesn't know about them and they walk up the ramp with 20 Marines, all of them Marines are dead. It can be pretty savage. So I'd like to see that. I'd like to see, if anything, more Widow Mines in play in the StarCraft League, because they're good units, particularly good units to drop into your opponent's base. You can load these up into a medevac, drop them in your opponent's base in behind the mineral line, and you can obliterate a mineral line pretty quickly. Frustrating units, because obviously you can't see them until they're triggered. Once triggered, they do become visible, so you can kill them then. But you know, if you've already lost all your army, that is of little consolation to you. So let's have a little peek at this stuff. Army supplies, you can see, have leveled out some. You know, Ryan still with a slight advantage. EMS now has the worker lead. Yeah, so weapons and armor, you can see down here the upgrades are looking better for Ryan than they are for EMS. Looks like EMS is moving out for another expand, and that is fine. That's great. If your natural, if your first expansion is like fully saturated, then it's definitely time to build a third. What I'm not seeing from either of these players is any indication that they want to go and get up in their opponent's face. So EMS certainly has more production, but it's interesting that a lot of these barracks haven't actually built any units. You know, this barracks has been up for a long time. It's only built 2 Marines. This one's built none, this one's built none, this one's built none. But these ones, meanwhile, have been cranking units out. You know, units are key. More barracks down here. So EMS definitely has the ability to build large numbers of units, and that could come in pretty handy. What he doesn't have is any spare supply at present, so really he needs to drop a whole bunch of supply depots, because right now he can't actually build another unit. Ryan, meanwhile, still sort of building out this unusual variety with a few Reapers in the mix, and Marauders. Interestingly, you know, after I give Reapers a bit of a diss in, these Reapers can perform a function in a fight that is otherwise even. Marines against Marines, these Reapers can throw out little grenades that pop your enemy units up into the air and spread them out. And once the enemy units are spread out, you can pick them off one at a time. That's all good stuff. I love what I'm seeing here. There is a nuke in production. Does he have a ghost though? I have not seen any ghosts. Is there a ghost? Oh, there are ghosts queued up here. So if you've never seen nukes in action before, basically the way it works is the nuke will, the ghost pence the target is what he does. He fires a little laser beam onto the target, and you have to keep that ghost alive for 20 seconds while the nuke comes down. Is it as long as 20 seconds? I don't think it is. Maybe I've just invented that number. Anyway, you've got to keep him alive until the nuke actually lands. Luckily, ghosts have a cloak ability and are able to become invisible, so that does help you keep them alive. I really want to see a nuke land in this game. That would cheer me up a great deal. I do like a nuke. No, there's a siege tank here, and as everybody knows, siege tanks are completely OP, they're totally broken, so I'd love to see those siege tanks positioned somewhere useful into siege mode. In general, a map like this up here is a good position for a siege tank because they have a large range, and anything that tries to come up your ramp here will get obliterated by it. Another one somewhere here like that, and you've got a strong defense. Siege tanks have a long range and do splash damage, so they're useful things. Oh, look! I've turned off the. For some reason, I was on Ryan's viewpoint only. Over here, we've got. Let me guess, more barracks in production. We do. How many barracks is that now? There's 5 racks here. That makes it 10, 12, 14, 15 barracks on the map here for EMS. That is a lot of barracks. But you know what we don't see is units coming out of them. So all damn barracks. Not building units from them, and you know, having the ability to build units is really important. It's a very, very useful thing indeed. But if you don't actually build the units, then, well, you know, barracks don't shoot. So these Reapers are moving out, and that's because they can take the shortcut. So it looks like Ryan has had enough waiting about and has A-clicked for the win. So he's basically attack moved his units across the map. You do have to be careful when you're doing that, when you've got a range of units. Because if you have units that can take shortcuts like Reapers, or these Reapers are all going to die on their own because they had arrived long before the other units. Now, if we look at the upgrades tab, we can see that Ryan has better upgrades. So, you know, all other things being even, Ryan has got the more technical army, but it's, you know, stuff turning up in a line like this against the opponent who's already shooting is not great. We also need these Widowmines to actually burrow far, otherwise they achieve nothing. But it looks like with the upgrades and the more technical stuff, the mech shooting and all of those types of things, it does look like Ryan is just going to be able to walk through here and win. You've got all these barracks, none of them are building anything, so come on EMS, you know, hold down the button and build another stuff. You've got 6,500 Marines in the bank, but you're only building 3 Marines. You could be building, like, you can build 15 Marines at a time. That isn't what's happening here. So it looks like, unfortunately, this game is over. I had high hopes, seeing the level of production that was on the map and the expanse that were going on and stuff. The engagement wasn't ideal. So what can we learn from this? We can learn that upgrades are useful. If we look here, we can see the +2 attack, +1 armor. So, you know, this stuff is just tough. It does more damage. So those upgrades can make quite a big difference in about, oh yeah, we are going to see a nuke. I'd love to have seen it in the fight, but you know, I'm taking nothing away. Every time I see a nuke land, it pleases me a great deal. Hang on. Where's the, where is it? Hopefully we can see the nuke launch. Where's the ghost? Ghosty, ghosty. Where are you, ghosty, ghosty? I want to see the nuke launch. Yay! So, up it goes, and shortly we should see be effective in nuke, because all of these SCVs, they dead. Boom, just like that. We've got this ghost here with 23 kills. Really at this point, EMS probably needs to just GG and quit. But you know, I'm pretty pleased with how this game has gone from both sides really. I like that we've seen a whole bunch of stuff being made. I like that we've seen a lot of production. We've seen expands. We've seen people not sit around and be idle. What I would have liked to see from both players is more scouting, getting more information, and getting up in each other's faces a bit sooner. You know, don't just sit back, build an army, and then march across the map and sort of flip a coin for who's got the biggest army. Get up in your opponent's face. You know, build units that are going to enable you to fly and get back to their base and snipe some stuff. Try and kill their expand and go home. You know, little skirmishes and stuff are frequently what win games rather than one massive battle at the end. But you know, that's the way it's gone. Okay, so it doesn't look like we're going to see a GG quit. So Ryan is going to just have to kill these remaining bits. Obviously, or perhaps haven't figured out how these widow mines work. Widow mines can be great when you send your army in because widow mines don't shoot until they are burrowed. The AI for the enemy units doesn't actually shoot the widow mines. So earlier we saw the widow mines were able to just walk right up to the enemy troops, and that can be quite useful. You can walk them right up and burrow them and just absolutely wreck those. So I'm quite excited to see what happens in game 2. GG.